Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls patch notes video with me, Sherman. Today we're going to be taking a look at patch 3.3.2 on the PTS. These are the newest patch notes. They just released them like literally seconds ago, and I did get a chance to go through them, look at them, and kind of go with my own kind of interpretation of some of the things that are coming. With this patch, there's a few changes that are setting some people off already. I'm not going to lie. So let's get right into it. We're going to bypass a lot of this stuff because some of this stuff is just like, oh, the radius mask. Yeah. It's just really not that important. This one is, though. A number of world bosses have installed thick metal backplates in response to a recent publication of an occultist guide to... Yeah. So basically... brief description of the Blade of Woe. So they're the world bosses. I don't think could be Blade of Woe anymore. So I don't know if that's what it means, but that's my guess. All right, moving on. So Dragon Bones, they fixed a few things with it. Fixed an issue where the Guild Heraldry Tabard would clip through the Fanglair homespun rawhide armor. They fixed a few other things, mostly just fixes right now. Seeing if they list anything else real quick. Arms would be nothing major there, nothing major. They reduced the rewards of finishing in second place to 1,000 or 10,000 AP, and third place to 7,000 AP in Battlegrounds. Combat balance changes. So this is where the main stuff happens. So the Resurrect Ally ability can now be interrupted even if an enemy player has crowd control immunity. So the Resurrect ability is now interruptible. For PvP, that sucks. It really does. Moving on to Dragon Knight Ardent Flame, Flame Lash, Lava Whip morph. The Power Lash attack from this morph now has a 3-second cooldown. So if you guys know what Power Lash is or Flame Lash is, Flame Lash is the one that you spin attack or you attack, and I think that's the morph that gives you the off balance, like bonus to off balance damage. So I think that's the one that it is. And then there's Lava Whip. This ability and its morphs no longer have a cooldown when they can set the enemy target off balance. Striking a stun or a mobile enemy will always set them off balance with Lava Whip, any Lava Whip. So that's kind of cool. But the Flame Lava Lash, that's kind of, that messes with a lot of PvP builds right there. It really does. Nightblade, Assassination, Grim Focus. The stacks you build towards bow proc from this ability and its morphs will now remain if you recast the ability early, or if the ability expires. The particle stack will be removed if you exit combat. And it says, no issue, the bow proc will sometimes not play its distinct audio cue. I know which one they're talking about, too. Alright, that makes sense. So, back on to more. Shadow, this is the Nightblade ability, Shadow Image. If you are further than 28 meters away from your shade, this morph will now revert back to allowing you to summon a new shade, rather than letting you attempt to teleport to the shade and fail. That's a good change. I'm sorry, but it is. Siphoning, Malevolent Offering, and a Shrewd Offering. They changed the cost of health for this, which is really good, down to 5k from 6,751 on Malevolent Offering. On Shrewd Offering, it's 4,320 from 5,940. So if you guys don't know what these are, Malevolent Offering basically gives you is like the first version. Shrewd Offering is the one that's reduced health costs. So that's what they fixed. They didn't change, I don't think, the other one's cost, but down to the 4,925. That's good. That's a really good change. It's not going to hurt people as bad as a lot of people think. 5k is nothing, where almost 7k was kind of something. I mean, I'm still going to use it on my Nightblade, but that's just me. Templar, Ajax Spear. Puncturing strikes increase the width of the damage area and its abilities and its morphs by 1 meter. Now the target's an 8x6 area instead of an 8x5. That's a really good change. This change will help Templars land jabs more consistently, particularly while strafing. That's a good change. So, Soul Magic, Soul Assault. This ability and its morphs no longer snare the enemy target. And they actually give a pretty good description why. One of the main counters to channel abilities is being able to break light. I think they meant line of sight, or out of range the ability, which is extremely difficult when faced with a 70% snare. And that is a good point. I mean, it is a pain to get away from, especially when you're in PvP, you're running around Cyrodiil and someone hits you with Soul Assault. Man, that stuff will lock you down quick. More fixes. So they fixed an issue where you could maintain off balance debuff against boss enemies indefinitely. That's fixed. So now we have the cooldown, which is kind of good, but kind of bad. They fixed an issue where health recovery reduction from major and minor defile was not reducing health recovery, increased from some sources like drinks and Troll King item sets. That's a PvP fix. I'm glad they got that. Next up, Dragon Knight, another fix. They fixed an issue where Power Lash attack from this morph could not be dodged. It is now dodgeable. Not only is it dodgeable, but it has a cooldown. That sucks for PvP. Alright, Draconic Power Reflective Scales. They fixed an issue where recasting this ability in its morphs would not refresh the amount of projectile reflections allowed. That's been fixed. And Ashen Cloud, they fixed the issue of where it would expire early and not tick for the final tick of damage. Nightblade Shadow Image fixed an issue where teleporting to the attempting to teleport to your shadow shade would cause you to lose some character functionality, such as the ability to mount or interact with objects. That's a good fix. And the major fix for Templars, Puncturing Strikes. They fixed the issue where the damage done to a primary target from this ability and its morphs was slightly lower than intended. And they fixed an issue where the spear thrust animations were making it improper sounds for the ability and its morphs. So they fixed that. Now here's the major one. Puncturing Sweeps. This is the Magica morph. Now actually heals the caster. So it's actually working now. That's a good thing. Alright. The next big changes, some people are still going to be mad about, and that's the itemization balance from some of the new item sets coming in. Starting with the new one, Caloran's Legacy. This item set's proc now spawns the Lich shoulder visual immediately, but has a 1 second delay before it fires the projectile at the enemy. That sucks, because this was a really good casting thing, but now it's less. The Plague Slinger set, the Skeever Corpse summoned by this item set, now proc now lasts 4 seconds, down from 6, but it now fires projectiles at enemies every 1 second, down from 1.5. So it still fires 4 projectiles, but it does it 1 every second. So that's good. And they increase the speed of the projectiles by 50%. It's good, but it's also kind of a little too much, I think. Alright, moving on to the 7th Legion. Now this is one a lot of people are going to be happy about. The item set's proc now has a 2-second cooldown. Before it didn't have that. See, the set was scaling too effectively when fighting more than one opponent. The short cooldown brings the item set more in line with what was originally intended. So that's a good fix. Now this is the big one. Zan. Everyone knows that Zan is a little OP. But they did make some adjustments. Not the adjustments a lot of people wanted to see. This item set now sets proc now occurs on any light or heavy attack instead of only on critical strikes with light or heavy attacks. But the proc chance has been reduced from 100% to 20%. So now you have a chance to proc it on a light or heavy attack. 20% chance for a lot of damage. That's crazy. They increased the cooldown of this item set's proc to 18 seconds from 15 seconds. That's what's going to make this set bad. is it's still going to be a really OP set, but it's that cooldown of 18 seconds that's going to really set this off from a lot of other sets. Not going to make it as viable as people think. And they do give a good reason. The monster set was overperforming by reducing both the reliability and the uptime of the proc. These changes brings the overall DPS of this set more in line with other monster sets. And I'm going to say that they're right, but without testing it yet, I can't say they're correct. We'll have to wait until I get my hands on it. I will test it a little bit tonight and see how bad off it is. If it's really bad, I'll probably come back and make a whole video about the Zan set and be like, you know what, it's just not that great. Alright, so they did fix a few other things. Grand Rejuvenation, they fixed an issue where the stamina restore from this item set's proc was not centered on the Grand Healing cast. Now it is. Plague Slinger, they fixed an issue where this projectile fired from this item set proc were removing enemies from stealth and invisibility. And then there were some other base game changes, like this is a really good one for PvP. They slightly increased the forward camp deployment radius to prevent placement on inner keep structures. That's a good change because I hated that. We had a DC group put a tent right outside the gate of the keep. Like, not outside the main gate, but outside the gate of the keep itself. And so the outer wall, they went through that and they put a tent inside there for their respawn so they could just keep bombarding our keep, and we had no way of getting to the tent because of where they placed it. So it was like if you came outside, you had to come outside to get to it, and we only had the one side door on the far side. We couldn't get out on the other side because there was no door there. So you'd have to either come out the front door and make a run for it, or come out the back door and go up on the wall and run around. And they had people placed all over the place, so we couldn't really get to the tent really well. And I'm glad they made that fix. They also slightly increased the forward camp deployment angle checks to allow for a more forgiving placement on terrain. And that's another good one because I hated trying to place a forward camp, and you'd be like on a just a little lopsided area, and it was like, no, you can't place it, and you have to like run around trying to find a place to place it, and then you'd have to find really flat level ground. This might help with that, but we'll see. Itemization consolidated the armor rewards for winning a 30-day campaign into a single campaign cache container. This also resolves the issue of where you would sometimes see a question mark as the 7th reward item in your mail. Alright, art and animation, they fixed a few things there. Combat and gameplay monster abilities. NPC Dragon Knights have renewed their contract with the Guild of Flags and Standards. NPC Dragon Knights across Tamriel once again unfurl standards upon their foes. Okay, that's kind of sucks, but we'll see how it goes. That does suck. Let's see. They did do some fixes to the outfit system, not major ones. They didn't change the cost or anything. But they did change the cost of the outfit station for rich vouchers down to 500 from 1,500. That's pretty good. And they fixed a few other things here. Alright. Nothing, no. You know, not a lot of this. I'm glad they added this, the extra character slot. That's going to be nice. And they took the look of the Telvanni Wizard costume now matches what it was supposed to in the Crown store. That's good. Let's see. Fixed an issue that caused target dummies to have incorrect names when viewed in the home. Okay. Never noticed that, but alright. And yeah, that's, oh, here it is. The storage coffer fortified collectible can now only be obtained from the level up advisor at level 18. Adjusted text on the collectible storage furnishings from Imperial Clarity for improved clarity and consistency, and fixed an issue from the gold in your personal bank and guild bank could appear in viewing the contents of the storage furnishings. So that's a good fix. Let's see. That's pretty much it. Alright, yeah, so, yeah, that's it. I'm not going to scroll down and let you guys see what everyone else is saying because it's a lot of complaining. about, yeah, just a lot of complaining about Dragon Knight, about the Templar. Mainly Dragon Knight, just a lot of Dragon Knight complaints. I don't blame them. I'm pretty irritated by that myself. But I do want to say a few things real quick. So before I go and load my PTS and get on there and start making builds and everything, I do want to say something. You know, there's a lot of stuff that the devs do to this game that sometimes it just irritates the hell out of people, because they make a lot of changes that we don't understand why they make them. I mean, they just give us a little brief description on a lot of this stuff, and I understand everyone's, you know, reasoning of like, oh, dude, you just screwed up my build, you just did this. But there's a lot of times, a lot of changes happen for the better overall good of the game. Not just for the specifics, but for the overall, like, well-being of the game and to balance things out and things. I know a lot of people don't agree with a lot of the changes the devs make, but you have to understand, there's only one group of people who know this game better than the players, and that's the developers. They're the ones who make the game. They know where they want their standards, and I know a lot of people will disagree with me that, but they know where they want the game balanced at. And you have to understand, they made a huge detrimental change to this game back with One Tamriel. They're still adjusting to that. They've got it down to pretty good place right now. I will admit, some of these skill adjustments I haven't been happy with. Some of the other things I haven't been happy with. But a lot of it I am happy with. And I'm glad that they're making these changes, because a lot of it has been improvements to the overall game experience. So yeah, but that's pretty much it for this. I know it wasn't much, but a lot of us have been waiting all day for these. As you guys can see, it's 4:11 p.m. my time, which is actually 3 hours or 2 hours difference from the company itself, where they're located. I'm 2 hours. They're East Coast. I'm in the mountain area right now. But I'm in the mountain time zone for right now. We'll say that. When it goes back to daylight saving switches, I actually go to California time, and because I live in Arizona. In Arizona, we don't have a time zone. Literally, like, we are in the void of time zones. It's pretty weird. But we don't do daylight savings here, so it's really hard to determine what time it is in different parts of the country or the world when you don't change time zones. So we can't calculate. So I have to, like, do weird math all the time to try and figure out what time it is somewhere. So just letting you guys know. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you know, for this video. Like I said, some of these changes I'm not happy with, like the DK ones. I'm not happy with. I'll see it, I'll test it, and figure out if I like it. But just by what I read, it's not something I'm happy with. A lot of the other changes I'm fine with. Like, a lot of them were good changes. Even the item sets, even the Zans, because Zans now has a 20% proc chance, and even with the 20% proc chance, it has an 18-second cooldown, which is going to make it a lot less effective than it was before. So, because it's got like a 10-second in between. So it's got activation 8 seconds or 6 seconds of activation time, and then it's got like 12 seconds of like air time before you can fire it off again. That's not going to make it great, but it's still going to keep it in consistency with a lot of other monster sets, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So if you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, hit that subscribe button. Also, I do have some good news. I just ordered my new microphone. It should be here in about 4 days. So sometime this week, if you hear the change in my, like, audio and all that kind of stuff, it's because I will have a real microphone and not a headset mic. So I have been using a headset mic since I started doing, you know, YouTube. And the main reason why is because I never saw the reason for getting a professional microphone. Now I'm getting one, and I'm kind of excited, and yeah. So, yeah, but that's pretty much it. So if you guys like this video, again, like button, subscribe. Other than that, thanks for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and this guy might see you in game. Bye.